Hi, folks. Leigh Diffey, Townsend Bell, and James Hinchcliffe with you here. So excited to say that we are on the eve of the NTT IndyCar Series season opener. That's the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Yes, we're headed to Florida to get this thing going. It feels very good to say that the off-season is officially over. We're ready to get going. Townsend, I'm going to start with you first, mate, because it's been a busy, some might say turbulent off-season, but there's a myriad of changes. We were going through it off-air. You could point to a dozen different changes, whether that be new drivers, drivers changing teams, teams expanding and contracting. What does that mean? How does that set us up for a season opener?
Well, I think it just changes chemistry on some of the big and the best teams, biggest and best teams in IndyCar. You look at Chip Ganassi Racing, last year's champions, going to a 5-car full-time team. Never seen that before. And then Andretti contracting, going the other direction, saying, hey, this 4-car, 5-car thing, it's too distracting to the chemistry for our organization. Let's bring it in, regroup, go to a 3-car assault on the championship. McLaren expanding to 3 full-time cars as well. So just a lot of different chemistry, and you just don't know exactly how that's going to play out until the checkered flag falls on Sunday.
Nobody knows what it means to win and how important a win is here, like our mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe. Hinch, great memories of 2013. But what does that mean? How do you leap off into a season after victory here?
Well, it's like anything in sports, right? Momentum is so important. It's so key. And when you can hit the ground running at the start of an IndyCar season, it really does set you up for a strong run up to the Indy 500 in the month of May. So any team that leaves here with a win, you'll be leading the points. It gives you the confidence that everything you've worked on over the offseason has worked. The recipe was right. You know, you're firing on all cylinders as a team, and it does just get that momentum ebbing in your direction. So I think all the teams, you try to win all of them, but certainly St. Pete, it's a special one to win, just because of the location, first race of the season, but it does kind of get you off on the right foot for that championship campaign.
James, keep the ball. I'm going to keep it with you. And let's talk about the reigning/defending champion, Alex Palou of Chip Ganassi Racing. Can this Palou plow be stopped? Because that's kind of how he treated the competition last year. He kind of just bulldozed them out of the way, didn't he? And he was virtually unstoppable last year. Do you see any change in that trend in 2024?
It was an uncharacteristically dominant season for what we see normally in IndyCar. 5 race wins, had the championship locked up before the last race for the first time in 15 years or something like that. So it was a very dominant performance, second championship in 3 years. There's not a lot to say there's any reason he shouldn't be doing it again. Here are the things that can work against him. As Townsend mentioned, the team expanding from 4 cars to 5. That's not an easy thing to do. We saw how Rahal Letterman, Lanigan Racing struggled when they went from 2 cars to 3. Same thing for McLaren last year, going from 2 to 3. There are teething issues. There are troubles that you come across when you go that direction. That could just derail the overall speed of the team. And then, of course, later in this year, we have the hybrid system coming. So the cars in the spec we are starting with in St. Pete, that's only going to be the spec through to, I believe, Mid-Ohio is when they're planning on debuting the hybrid system, which could completely throw everything for a loop. We have no idea who's going to be quick. Will Honda have a better handle on it? Will Chevy? Will one team over another? Will one driver over the others kind of get it sorted? So it is important to get a strong start. I think Palou can do that, but once we hit the hybrid era, who knows?
Townsend, what do you call him? The surgeon. He's so precise. Do you see anything changing, in his 2024 campaign?
Listen, if you were getting open heart surgery, you would want Alex Palou on the scalpel. He is that precise. He is that focused. He is that undeterred or undistracted by outside influences. Now, he's going to have another curveball thrown at him in terms of outside influences this season, being sued in British courts by McLaren Racing for breach of contract. Something like $30 million McLaren is going after Alex Palou for breaking the contract last year and staying with Chip Ganassi Racing. You would think, wow, that's going to be a massive distraction in the season to have to go through potentially depositions and all of that kind of drama. But he's been here before. Don't forget that Alex Palou was getting sued by his then current team, Chip Ganassi Racing, when he decided he was going to be going to McLaren. It didn't faze him one bit. He still delivered on the racetrack. And I think that's what's so impressive about Alex Palou is despite any outside chaos, outside influence that arguably would deter many of the other drivers in the field. Alex Palou has this laser-like focus, and he gets the job done when he straps into an Indy car. I expect this season to be no different.
All right, Hinch, this is like final question. This is like, like a fishing net, just throwing it out there. Will Power was winless last year, highly uncharacteristic. Scott Dixon has never won at St. Pete. Pato O'Ward, for all the dynamic driving that he gives us and spectacular action, he didn't win last year either. Is that going to change this year? You've got rookies coming in, young Christian Rasmussen, sports car race, Colin Brown, Jack Harvey returns to the season, hybrids coming in, like you said. What's your big ticket item heading to this weekend?
I mean, you have so much to choose from. There's so much happening in IndyCar this year. That's what is making it so exciting. That's what I'm so excited about. But for me, of all those stories, Diff, the one that I'm still just going to be looking at the most is this new faces in new places storyline. We have 10 teams on the grid. 9 of them have a driver lineup change from 2023. Only Team Penske remains unchanged across their drivers. So there's so much going on. I've changed teams. Townsend, you know what it's like switching from team to team. Sometimes it goes smoothly. Sometimes it's very tumultuous. We saw Romain Grosjean, who's one of those drivers we're going to be watching, switching to JHR. All kind of assumed the Andretti Autosport relationship was going to go well. That wasn't the case. How is that going to go for David Malukas? How's that going to go for Marcus Ericsson? How's it going to go for Grosjean? There are so many cool driver team stories that are brand new for 2024. I think we're going to see some that could start really good relationships, even a dynasty. And I could see some that are going to have high expectations going in and fall apart, but we just won't know until we hit the track.
T-Bell loves having the final word. Take it away, mate.
I think all of that James just laid out for us is reason to think that Team Penske could have another phenomenal season. Consistency. They haven't changed anything, seemingly. You have 3 championship caliber drivers. McLaughlin, who is absolutely on the rise, totally going to be a contender this season at every single racetrack. Remember, when he came over a couple years ago, we knew that the ovals were going to be a learning curve. There was going to be an apprentice phase for McLaughlin. That's over now. He can deliver on any racetrack on any day. You couple that with Will Power and, of course, Joseph Newgarden. You've got such a powerful force of consistent delivery year after year. Nothing's changed there. So watch Team Penske amidst and among all of the chaos and change.
Folks, are you ready to start going like this? We're almost there. We're almost at the season opener. There's 20 years of history at St. Pete, and those 2 decades tell us that we're in for an action-packed weekend. 27 cars will take to the grid for the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Pete, and you're going to see it live on network television, noon Eastern on Sunday. Can't wait to get this season going. Hinch, T-Bell, thanks so much, and folks, we'll see you this weekend.
Hi folks, Leigh Diffey from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.